So I like documenting these moments because they're good reality checks for me. And what I mean by that is like every once in a while where I feel like I'm just having these like off days, like these pretty anxious days or pretty anxious moments, I talk about them here on the channel because it reminds me, and I wanted to remind you guys that like, you know, you might have an off day, but it more so reminds me of like, oh shoot, like I used to really feel like this pretty often. And like, it's like, I haven't felt like this in a while. And I like to flip those feelings and be like, oh, why do I feel like this? And instead be like, wow, you know, like, thank you, God, for reminding me what I used to feel like. Not saying he's causing anxiety. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but like, that the fact that I like flip it and say, this sucks right now, but like, thank you that I don't feel this all the time anymore. Or it's been such a long time. Or wow, the progress that I made because, yeah, I used to feel like this, or I used to feel even worse or for longer, and it's been such a long time. It's like, it almost makes you feel grateful for these moments because it's just a reminder of how far you've come because you remember feeling this for so long. And now it's like, it's if I know it passed in the future, if I know it passed once before, I know it'll pass again. And I'm grateful that I don't feel like this way all the time. And the times that I do are so short compared to that way that I used to. So it's all about perspective. And sometimes, like this one in particular, they're good learning experiences. So like, for example, for me, I know that one of the best ways that I can battle the anxiety, like work past the anxiety that I struggle with is to not I argue with myself in my head. I try to prove the anxiety wrong, and I say that the anxious thought, you know, that comes in, I try to be like, oh, that would never happen because this, or that's not true because of this, or this is wrong because of this. And all that does is perpetuate the cycle and perpetuate the circle. So I've learned when that thought comes in my head, I just have to, I've learned after years of what are the anxious thoughts, what are the triggers, and say, hey, I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to disagree or try to disprove or any of that. I'm just going to allow the anxious thought to come in because I can't control the thoughts that come in. That's the biggest thing. Learning that not to feel guilty about the thoughts that come in or the anxious thoughts that come in. And two, to now, once they do come in, to then say, okay, I'm not actually gonna think about this. There's a what was it? It's like, there's a Bible verse that goes, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, talking to God. And it's interesting, the meditations, not the thoughts, what you meditate on, right? Not what you think, but what you meditate. It's very interesting. Like there's thoughts that come in, but you can't control the thoughts that come in, but you can control what you think about, right? What you meditate on. Just interesting. So that's what I've really learned works for me, is like really recognizing, okay, and that's the whole point of this story, is the fact of like yesterday I didn't follow my rules. I kind of went down the rabbit path. I started arguing myself in the head, trying to disprove it, trying to, you know, just, and that's what triggered it. And it's like, and when I realized that, I was like, oh shoot, like, well, no wonder, maybe you'll learn your lesson. And it's just, it almost made me feel grateful again. Like I said, that, oh, you know what? Thank you that I did go down that path, because it reminds me, I don't want to go down that path again.